Being in remission from having cancer is not that easy. It's not like turning on a light switch and all of a sudden everything is back to normal, back to the way it used to be, especially if you've had a more advanced cancer. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the things that people do go through while in remission and what you can do to find healing and support through it, or how you could help someone who's in that part of the cancer journey. So one of the first and most sort of obvious reasons why it's not so black and white, it's not like a light switch going off, is because oftentimes you may still need to go through treatment even after being declared in remission. And so you still have lots of the same side effects and lots of the same issues that you had while you had cancer and were going through treatment, because you're still going through treatment. Even if it's different treatment, you're still going through treatment. So please, if you are in that place, be kind to yourself. Give yourself permission to rest, to ease into life, to hopefully not have to work again full time right away. You are still going through treatment. And if you know someone who's been declared in remission and you're just so excited to celebrate, yes, absolutely celebrate. This is amazing news, amazing news. But remember that if they're still going through treatment, they still have side effects and they still may need that support. They may need a grocery run. They may need you to take them to a treatment. They may need you to check in on them because they're really feeling nauseous or having vomiting or whatever it is. So continue to support your friend or your loved one the way you were before they were declared to have remission, especially if they're still going through treatment. Now, if they're done with treatment, if you are done with treatment, hooray, that's awesome. But there still can be a journey going forward. And so if you're feeling like, wait, I am done with treatment, I'm in remission, why am I still having brain fog? Why do I still have pain? Why do I feel fatigued or weak at times? That's because you just went through a really hard thing. You just took in a whole bunch of treatment that helped you get to this place of remission, but it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy on your body. And so give yourself permission to continue to take those rests and those breaks, and know that you're not alone, that many people continue to have lots of side effects. And so in this period of time, there's a lot of processing and a lot of reintegrating into life and trying to figure out how to get back into life. There's this period of sort of emptiness that can happen where you were almost, 24/7, but definitely 9 to 5, going to treatments, going to tests, seeing doctors. Your whole life just was taken over by cancer and by the cancer hospital that you were going to. And now all of a sudden that's gone. And it sort of feels like this quiet place. You want to celebrate, and absolutely you should, but you're still having some of those side effects, and you kind of need to get back into life. But you're not in the cancer hospital anymore, but you're not quite yet back into life because you're having still some of these side effects and symptoms. And it can feel kind of like an empty place. And during that time, there can be a lot of processing of what you just went through. All of a sudden, some memories can come back to you. You could be driving down a particular road where you got the call and they called you and told you have cancer. And all of a sudden, all of the fear and all of the shock comes back to you. That's very normal. You could be, getting up early in the morning and somehow the weather reminds you of that first day you went off to get chemo or radiation, and all of the fear or the emotions come back to you. That's very normal, and it's not easy. It's normal, but that doesn't mean that it's easy. And so again, give yourself that rest and that care and that nurturing that you need. Or if you know someone who's going through this period in their cancer journey, I really encourage you to check in with them. Just, how's it been? Do you find that sometimes you're thinking back on when you first found out about having cancer? Do you find that you're thinking about those treatment days that we know were so hard? Check in with your friend or your family member who's going through this period of time. Another thing that can be really difficult for people is that they may find that they can't do the job that they were doing before. You know, whether that's a really heavy manual labor job or something that really taxed their brain and needed them to be really organized, highly organized. They may find that, especially in the first year or years after being in remission, that they can't go back to that work. And that was what gave you, if this is you, that's what gave you, purpose. It gave you a lot of meaning. Your friends were there. You loved that job. And now you're finding, I can't lift, these heavy materials that I used to work with, or I can't schedule for that executive like I used to as the executive assistant, whatever it is. And then it can feel like you're lost a little bit. Now all of a sudden I have to come up with a whole new job, and I need a job because I need to get, insurance again. I'm off of disability maybe, and now all of a sudden I really need to get insurance back and going. And so there's just a lot of reconfiguring of life that can happen, and it sort of needs to happen, while you're going through, while you're having to find a job. It's like building the plane while flying it. And so if you're going through that right now, I again encourage you to be easy on yourself and take the time you need to really think through, what are you going to do next? What are you going to do next temporarily, or what are you going to do next sort of long term as a career change? You may be also finding that your perspective on life has changed so dramatically. So there's lots of people who may be able to go back to that job that they had, or go back to that way of living that they are familiar with, but now they don't really want to do that. They kind of start to feel like, that 9-to-5 job in the corporate world is not what I want to do. I want to help people. And so if you're in that place, I just think that's an opportunity for growth. It's not easy, because now all of a sudden you have to think about, what are you going to do to help people and make a living? Or what are you going to do that gives you more of a sense of purpose and meaning? If it's, helping people, or, farming, or maybe it's moving from a place of helping people a lot and going into a corporate job, whatever it is, you may have a big perspective or shift in what you want to do in life. And so again, take the time you need to really decide, what do you want to do? And again, that might be building the plane while flying it. You may need to go back to that job you had before and just take an hour every week to kind of really think about, what do I love doing? What do I love doing now? What do I want to do? And what are some jobs out there that I could do? So the last thing that I would say that's really, really difficult about those first months and years after going into remission is that you are on this journey that I've just talked about that includes ongoing physical pain, some side effects, especially if you're still in treatment, some brain fog, some emotional processing and of the medical PTSD you've just had, and some, spiritual processing as well about, my perspective has shifted and I want to do things differently now, whether it's for work or, even in your personal life, you may want to start to prioritize people more all of a sudden. And so you're going through all of this physical, emotional, and spiritual processing while the world around you is kind of thinking, you're in remission, you're great. You're going back to everything that you used to do. Light switch, everything's on, it's great, right? And so you're kind of in this place of significant change in your life and processing and journey. And your friends and family might just think everything's normal. Why are you still needing my support and grocery runs? Why are you still wanting to process, what happened 2 years ago? Why are you all of a sudden changing, your job or changing the way that you are with friends and family? And isn't everything just supposed to go back to the way it used to be? Why do we have to still talk about this cancer journey? And that can be in itself difficult and part of the journey. It can be difficult to be surrounded by people who think that everything's normal now. And for you, everything is really not normal. It's not. You've been through a lot. And it's not just everything as usual again. You are a new person. You've been changed by this experience that you've gone through. In many ways, like a soldier is changed after being in war and witnessing all of that. You've gone through so much, and you're not the same person that you used to be. You're a new version of yourself. And there's definitely opportunity for growth and for new and wonderful things. But it comes with a lot of change, and that can be hard. Any change, any transition in life can feel unstable and uneasy. So I would encourage you, first and foremost, to reach out to any friends or family who get it and are really helpful. And make sure you've got, at least one person who can kind of get it and listen to you. I also would encourage you to reach out to support groups on Facebook for survivors. Some of those can be really, really helpful, and that might be where you get your person, your friend who really gets it. I also would encourage you to reach out to Chaplain Connect. We can help you process this period of your life and help you, find meaning, help you reorient into life, help you even think about maybe some new career paths or new ways of being in the world, and help you process some of the ways that your friends and family are reacting to you right now, help you process, the ongoing physical symptoms that you may be having. You could also reach out to a psychologist, a social worker, clergy, but I would definitely make sure that you seek out those people who do have an understanding of what this part of the journey is like. Because so many people think, oh, cancer, it's like a light switch. Now you're right back to the way things used to be. But it's not always that way, especially if you've had a more advanced cancer. So remember to go easy on yourself. Remember to seek out that help for yourself. And I hope that this has been helpful. I hope that today you can have some peace and you can have as good a day as you possibly can in remission. And I look forward to sharing more with you. Don't forget to like and subscribe if this has been a helpful video for you.